Oh, okay, here we go. It wouldn't let me string.
All
Well,
right, everybody, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in 3 categories: education, storyteller and drama, and arts. For 5 years and with over 280 weekly episodes and 64 million plus downloads, the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast has provided advice and tips from international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest judges and winners, and industry professionals. It is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard to help the aspiring writer and artist no matter their age, race, ethnicity, or gender. It is dedicated to the future of storytelling and art by showing that it is never too late to start, and those who make it are those who never give up. We are all busy, but I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment and vote now. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in any or all 3 of the categories: education, storyteller drama, or art.
hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to my show on Sunday night on UPRN. You into the night with me, Sean Kelly. Again, I'm on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and we broadcast all over the world. So, to everybody out there in the different countries out there who are listening to my show tonight, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Henry. Hello, hey, Sebastian. Good to see you, pal. It's been a while since I've seen you. And God bless your family, too, my friend. So, what happened yesterday up in Butler, Pennsylvania, I'm not even going to dwell on it right now because I have a show on Friday night that I co-host. It's News on the Flip Side. And if you want to hear my thoughts on it, then please tune in. News on the Flip Side, Friday night on this platform here. And it's at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. So I'm not going to get into it. Hey, Bill Rigby, good to see you, pal. So last night I went to Bloodfest down at the Dudas Farm and had a hell of a time. Had the best time of my life. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you, hon. And it was such a great time. Val and Matt went down there with me, and I saw Eric. He was selling his Hot Wheel cars down there, and it was great. It was a very good time. Mr. Roy White, you did a fantastic job, sir. And I'm going to have to get you on in August sometime. We can talk about it. Hello, Tim Vogel. Hello, Cindy. Hey, good to see you, Cindy. So I really don't want to get into a lot of this because the next 2 shows, I got this one and Tuesday night, I'm going to have these gentlemen on. Mr. Wojo, he sent me a message and we started to chat. And, a lot of good conversation between me and him. And then I asked him if he wanted to come on the show, him and his partner, Richie B. And he said, sure, not a problem. And it's crazy. Tonight is part one of Richie and Mr. Wojo. We're just going to talk about their Bigfoot experiences, how they got started, all that good stuff. But this Tuesday night coming up, I'm telling you, we're going to show evidence, audio, video, and some pictures that they talked while they were doing their investigations. The name of the group is called Boots on the Ground Investigations. Richie B and Mr. Rojo are Bigfoot researchers out of Massachusetts, so they do have that Boston accent, guys. So they say Pittsburgh has problems with their accents. We'll try to, maybe put it in the words underneath it if somebody type the words in when they're talking about it, and they know I'm messing with them on that. But without further ado, my guests, Richie B and Mr. Wojo. Let me get them on. Here's Mr. B.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey guys, what's up?
Haven't yet. How we doing?
I love it. He wants to put closed captions out for us.
Yes, I know. They got this deep Boston accent, this Massachusetts accent, and I had to really listen to them when I first got in chatting with them, because I was like, "What are you saying? What are you saying?"
Can you please repeat that, sir?
Yes. Look at all our people in here, Wojo. Cheryl Manduker, Lisa Garcia, Mary Newbert, Tim Vogel. I know everybody else, but it's really nice. Thanks for support to our friends. Oh my goodness.
Henry, what's up, Henry? Good to see you, Henry.
Yeah, Henry's our man. Henry's a great dude, and Tim Vogel's actually a member of Boots on the Ground Bigfoot Investigations out of the New England area, because that's our goal. Put us on the map. Let's go.
There you go. And hopefully tonight we'll get you started on that map, because like I told you guys before, we are broadcasting all over the world and the United States. And
hello, world.
Yeah, hello, world.
How are we doing, folks? And thank you, Shawn, for inviting us, too. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
So we'll start off with Mr. Richie B. Yes, okay, sir. What actually got you into Bigfoot investigating? What was your very first experience that you had that really got you going and doing this thing that you guys love to do? And how long have you been doing it?
It's funny. What got me going with Bigfoot was actually Bigfoot. It wasn't me. Like, I was just a guy in a yard, doing yard work. And where I live, what's up, Timmy? Tell us where I live. It's called the Bridgewater Triangle. If you're anywhere all over the world, make sure you get in Google Bridgewater Triangle. It's in southeastern Massachusetts. And I have property there, about 3 acres of it, that abuts 94 acres of conservation. And about a mile out, there's this pretty main river, called the Taunton River. And so I own this land. I love my land. I'm connected to my land. And a couple of years after owning it, I started hearing off in the distance, like footfall walking around. And the area that I'm in, it was very difficult to get into, and it bottlenecked. So you had a road over here and a road over here, and my house kind of pinpointed, so you'd have to come down a trail basically to get to my property. And I'm like, who the heck is out there? So I just kind of went about my business. I didn't sit out there. I got a life, and kids. So it was like I was running around doing things, but every once in a while I'd be out there and I'd hear the footfall, and I remember going in at night going, what is that noise? I kept hearing, and I hear brakes like, like way off, but you could hear it. It just didn't make sense to me for years. I just kind of put it off. And then I started watching the shows. And then the big significant thing, I guess one of the first things that really stand out to me, and it really wasn't even that long ago. I've done this. It's been about probably about 9 years, close to a decade, say now, right? That I've been, had the experiences, became a researcher. And I was raking around this little fire pit. And I remember cleaning up all the debris. We got to throw it back in. And I hear footfall, but it was close this time. So this area that I'm in has a game trail that leaves my fence. Deer come down there. You can see them from the window, whole 9 yards. And there's some dense woods on either side of it. And then you get out to this huge clearing. And then it goes back to dense woods and wetlands and skunk cabbage and, big clumps and everything else of peat moss. And I sit there and I heard the footfall. And then all of a sudden I heard the little crack of a tree. And then in one pull, I heard And I remember I snapped around like this, and just as I did, I saw the tip of it coming down. And it was like an 8-inch, about 8 inches. You know, it's funny how trees, when you measure them, they're actually bigger than you think they are. And I measured it at one time afterwards. But anyways, I saw it come down the very end of it, and I stopped and I grabbed my phone out because, you know, I'm gonna be kind of strong with my property, right? So I'm like, all right, who's out? You know, where you at? I said, you can see it on the video on the YouTube channel. It says, where you at? And I'm holding it, I'm scanning my phone, and all of a sudden I get back like thrown at me like a quick growl. And I'm looking, I'm like, I can't see nothing. And like I said, it's like 50 to 75 yards is that dense row of trees, which I assume that's where it was. And I couldn't see anything. And I even went back into the video and tried to enlarge it, and it gets all pixelated. And I'm trying to find it, you know, where is this thing, you know? And I remember at first I was kind of boisterous, where I was like, you know, I was like loud, and this is my property type guy, you know, man stuff. And then all of a sudden I went, hey, dummy, you can't even see it. What are you doing? So I started backing up, and I have about an acre of land that's actually fenced in. And I remember I went all the way back, and I put my hands on my knees, I put my head down, and I processed, Shawn. And that's what became I literally processed as a human. What did I just hear? And I have a friend of mine, Josh Winkles down in South Carolina. He's actually a preacher too. And so I want to reach out to him for some guidance, to be quite honest. And it's as dramatic as it sounds, it was that kind of life-changing, right? And I said, bro, I got a video I want you to listen to. And he listened to it. And that was the first time I put something physical with what I had been hearing. I've had many experiences since. I've been flanked. I got videos of banging and beating on trees, not even just tree knocks, just bang, 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 like 75 yards from my camper in my backyard. I have a gifting stump, and you know, it's just totally progressed. But that's, to answer your question, is the original situation that came from me, where I became so enthralled that I was on every TV channel, every documentary, every YouTube show, anything I could do. And here I am over a decade later now, as far as researching goes, you know.
Sweet. So you actually went down a rabbit hole, huh?
Yeah, I got sucked down the rabbit hole. Yeah, and it wasn't me. Like I said, he approached me. I didn't go looking for a cryptid. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
How about you, Mr. Woja?
Well, Shawn, I've known Richie for over 20 years. We played men's softball with and against each other. And one day I flipping through my Facebook and I see like this video, and Richie had like a podcast going. I'm like, what's he doing with the podcast? And so it was about Bigfoot. Now, growing up, I've always been intrigued with the mystery of the Bigfoot, the Yetis, and so on and so forth. And of course, alien and paranormal stuff. Well, I happen to call Richie, and I go, Richie, what is going on? Who are these? Who are these people at your property from Channel 4 News Radio? And he's like, I have Bigfoot in my backyard. I go, what? You never told me that. He goes, well, you never asked. He goes, why? You into Bigfoot? I go, I always have. So then I go, and then I'm like, really? He goes, well, I'll have to bring you to my backyard one of these days. Okay. So then the following day, he calls me up late at night. He goes, listen, I'm going to Western Mass to do an investigation. And the person that was coming with me, can't make it. You want to go? I go, want to go? I go, I want to see what you're seeing. I said, you know what? So, Shawn, I called his bluff. Okay. So I called his bluff, and we went out to Western Massachusetts.
Where's that?
I'll wait till the story's after. So,
where's Western Massachusetts located? I mean, is Bigfoot really big all over Massachusetts, or in a certain area of Massachusetts?
No. He's everywhere, man. They're everywhere. And that's, and that's the thing that our end game is this, that we all talk about the great Northwest, and I'm not knocking anything. I think they're all beautiful places. They all have mystery. They all have Sasquatch. I have a friend of mine who lives out in Humboldt County, man. He's seen them. He knows they're there. You know what I mean? So, Alaska, Alex Petikoff I've become friends with, and he's been out, he goes everywhere, even British Columbia. We made it to finally. But, I try telling people they're right here, man. They're literally right here. We don't have to fly nowhere. So that's why we actually got boots on the ground Bigfoot investigations going, because we wanted everybody to say, hey, we don't want anybody to come running. We want to find, discover the creature, respect the creature, study the creature. Jane Goodall did it with the mountain gorillas, right? Yeah, I mean, she literally ended up sitting there with them. We're not going to do that. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Just so we're all clear, we're not doing that, all right? You can't make me, man. You know what I mean?
Coffee and donuts.
Coffee, donuts, and Tom Brady would do it if you told him to do it. And since you are a Tom Brady fan,
here we go.
A New England Patriot fan. Please.
But believe it or not, Shawn, my first investigation was out in the area towards Western Mass, and Richie brought me. He brought me in. We met this this brother and sister, and they're going to show us their area. Now I've been an avid hunter growing up all my life, and I've been out all over New England in the woods, and I would say I'm a pretty good hunter. I see what's out there, trees, the ground, the whole bit. But going out there, first things first, I had to, use the bathroom, and all of a sudden I looked, I see this tree, just twisted in a 90-degree angle. I'm just sitting there, but I'm just kind of looking up, looking around. I'm like, geez, that's kind of odd. Why would a healthy tree that's probably about 8 to 10 inches thick, and the fibers are still attached to it, and after I'm done, I'm shaking it, I'm trying to lift it, and I'm just like, wow, that's just incredible. But yet I don't see any branches on it. So I'm like, I can't figure that the wind could do that and twist it at a 90-degree angle. So then I mentioned something to Richie, and Richie's like, yeah. He goes, check out this twist. And then all of a sudden we found another twist. And then another one. Yep. And then we finding, highway of deer tracks, which I've never seen so much of it. But then there had to be about 8 of these trees that are probably about maybe 30 yards across. And there's got to be a total of 8 of them, 4 on each side, but it all kept leading towards these power lines. And I'm thinking, this is a cone off. I feel like they're building a some sort of an ambush hut or something down the road.
Like a corral, they're corralling the deer in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then out behind those breaks and stuff that we saw, we went out behind them and we kept going, and we found huts what we believe are huts. What we've sent to people that are in the wilderness, that are in the arbitrary even. And arbitrous, excuse me, and they're bent down low. It's like you boil a carrot and you bend it. That's the best way I can give you.
Just bends and curves.
Bizarre. They come up and they bend, and it's like they're keeping these things alive on purpose. And you go inside, and I 3D scanned it, and you can actually see the divot, something had been laying in there. And I laid in there too. I didn't leave a divot. Don't even try it. All right.
But that's interesting about these huts. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, Tuesday night, when Richie and Mr. Wojo are back on, they are going to show pictures of these huts and get some video and some audio. So you have to come back Tuesday night, same time, same platform. And I'm telling you, I saw some of those videos and pictures, and I was completely impressed. But back to you, Mr. Wojo. So you saw this branch being twisted, right? Okay. Was there anything other around that tree that, like a footprint or some kind of hair, some scat, deer bones or whatever? Was there anything else around it that could make you actually think it could be a Bigfoot? Because there's going to be people out here tonight listening to this, okay? And some are just going to be thinking, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Was there anything else around that gave it better evidence that it was something else?
Well, when you're out in the woods a lot and you try to process this tree, and you're like, well, how did this happen? First things first is that I'm kind of looking up in the air and see if there's any other trees, maybe are dead, and maybe a big branch might have hit it, smacked it, maybe twisted it, or I don't know. Like someone asked me, "Do you think a tornado went through it?" I go, "Well, a tornado. If a tornado ever would to come through, you think physics? I mean, it'll just come over, twist everything, and shatter everything, but it's going to be all over the place."
Right.
Yeah.
But
I'm
this
sorry.
specific tree,
Yeah.
I'm looking that there was no prints around, but there was no real branches on it. Maybe like towards the tip, but it's a healthy tree. Listen, I'm a strong guy, and I was shaking and trying to lift it. I was just really mind boggled of what I'm seeing. But again, I don't know how it would happen. So I'm not saying it was Bigfoot. I'm not saying anything. I just found it weird. But then when you start walking around the woods and you start seeing more than one in different areas, and we're like maybe like 2 miles into the woods away from civilization to the nearest house, there's something going on here.
Right. Okay.
So now I'm with Richie, and Richie was talking, and we found this like little pathway off one of these twisted trees, and then I just happened to like look around and try to assess all right, what's going on in these woods, and then that's when I saw the pine trees wilted over in a strange, just limped over in one direction, and I just found that odd. I'd never seen anything like it.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when Richie's talking. Oh, wait a minute, what is that? I go, I go, that's what I'm looking at. So I believe we both ran in the woods because we both found it odd. And as we came around, then we just saw these huts, and there were like 4 of them. And on some of them, you'd find like a 90-degree angle, a broken, tree branch is probably about like 10 to 12 inches wide, keeping it down, but also added on, layers of pine branches that were pulled from its knots, and I found that completely like off the wall. I'm like, geez, there's nothing like snapped or broken; it's just pulled off. And that's when we found a deer shed with these surrounded huts, and I found it real strange to find a deer shed 30 yards from there.
Okay.
That's right.
What were you going to say there, Richie?
Oh no, I get too excited. I get excited. I'm Wojo's got energy, but I get so fired up with this story that sometimes I just can't shut my mouth, and I apologize. You know what I mean? But Wojo, thank you for throwing in the pot where you went pee first. That was very nice for the world to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was.
That's how it all started.
No, it did, and that's what I was excited to get to the deer shed pot. That's what ties things in. Like the area where I got this print here, which is very local to my property and where I'm sitting now. I have two properties, and this area is basically in between them. And that's what's exciting about it. So I was a paranormal investigator. When you get 1 or 2 or 3 pieces, you get a sound and an orb, say, right? Because you're a paranormal investigator, right? But they're together, right? Doesn't that make that evidence like more substantial, right? It gets more exciting, right? So same with this one. When we found that deer shed out by those huts, that's what started tying in evidence. Then I come back to this area. We cast this print. We go back about 10 days later, which was yesterday. We find a hail print, which I'll share with everybody come Tuesday. And, when we first found it, we found like natural looking shelters. And out in front of the natural shelter, we find this shattered bone, fractured, shattered, smashed bone. Okay. Very limited on bear in my area. You're not going to deal with like moose and stuff like that. It's, so just to give everybody an idea, this thing is smashed in half, fractured, and all the bone marrow sucked out of it or whatever, picked out of it or however it happens. So I got 2 prints. I got a formation going on, right? Of natural shelter, I'm going to call it, right? They do seem to have other trees put on top of it to assist the outward growth as opposed to the upward growth. And then there's a bone out front. So it's the same thing. So now I got 1 print. I got a hail print. I got suspected shelters. And then I find this bone piece with no marrow in it. So now I have more evidence, don't I? It ties it all together. So when we found the huts with the deer shed out in front of it, it did kind of tie it in like something, was dwelling there in a sense. You know what I mean? So that's why I got so excited, because I start reliving these moments that the passion just comes out of me. You know what I mean?
Right. That is like cool. Now, when you guys go on an investigation for Bigfoot, what kind of equipment do you bring with you?
Oh, we've tried all kinds of fun things, haven't we, bro?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. Tree knockers that I got a 1978 Louisville Jim Rice bat that I use for a tree knocker. Sorry, anybody, but Boston through and through.
Well, I mean, also I use a parabol.
Yep.
I bring that with the headsets, but also, survival. You gotta be prepared for survival. You always like have a backpack, have water. Always have like an energy bar or something. We have like clear canisters and gloves in case we find evidence. Any other pliers, tools, whatever. And but yeah, I mean it's that's pretty much it.
No, it ain't.
Well,
no, it ain't. I have Scaniverse on my Apple phone. That works unbelievable. Way better than the Android version.
Folks, he hates my phone.
There's an app out there that Alex Petikoff introduced to me because he goes way out and he can't carry cast everywhere he goes, and it's called Scaniverse, SCANI verse, all one word. It's like a little red circle if you see it in the App Store, and you download it, and it takes amazing 3D pictures of the feet. You can get details from toes. You can see where they stepped on a stick and broke it or slid their foot down it.
Measurements.
And you'll see some of those Tuesday night. If you come back Tuesday night, I'll bring some of those 3D scans if you'd like, Shawn, and we can show it to your audience and they can see the pictures themselves.
Please.
Yeah, no, I would love to. We're visualists in a sense. And if you on my podcast, I do a lot of visual stuff. And I don't know, for me, it's better for me because I'm loaded with some like ADD, you know what I mean? Like I've had it my whole life where I just kind of go, my head's everywhere. So when I get that visual lock on, it helps me. So I will share come Tuesday night, whatever you guys like, whatever you want to see, whatever questions you might have. Bring it all. We're bringing it all, baby.
We bring in everything. And to actually finish my story, I mean, not that anybody cut me off. We did hear a knock at the towards the end. Yeah. And that's how I started, is just that one investigation. And then he brought me to his backyard. Now, his backyard, being out in that woods, it was the first time I felt like, you just have that energy in that woods. It feels like something's watching you. And watching the show, I saw somebody talk about, the smell and the smell in the air. Well, I witnessed that 3 different times going to his house, and it smelled dank. It smelled like urine. It was just nasty, but it was like off and on. And it started off when we first came into the woods, and then maybe in the middle of our investigation, and then towards the end of our investigation, it got stronger now. And I'm just I feel like something's on the other side of the woods. It's following us. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just that weird energy. And at the same time, I'm finding all sorts of structures that Richie was showing me, and we're finding new ones. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, these tree structures is something that you just can't do by hand. I mean, human-wise. I mean, these trees are just 8 to 10 inch thick, if not bigger. They're 12 feet in the air. And they also have like some sort of Indian folklore behind it, because behind Richie's house he had a letter X and also the dream catcher. You want to talk about that, Rich?
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, Rich. Yeah, your turn. Speak up.
I'm still his co-host, so back to you, Bob.
Well, that's right, Jim. We'll get down and crazy with banter with Richie B. Welcome to UPRN 105.3. Anyways, that's my radio voice. Moving on. My backyard is absolutely insane. It really is, man. I've been flanked 3 times out there, where they get your attention, throw it, one runs. I've been through it all out there. Dave McCullough, co-founder of Squatchachusetts out here. Check it out. Squatchachusetts is a page. They talk. They share evidence, sightings, data. Check that out too. And he was with me to do an investigation. And when Wojo mentioned WBZ, I had a friend of mine that had to build up trust, okay? I had to build up trust. For anybody to come to my property. I had 2 young kids growing up there. I didn't want just anybody coming up to it. I knew the place was magical. And eventually I got convinced to say, hey, share your story. On 4/24/22, as you see on my hat, I lost my son. He was stillborn, baby Jack. and I mention them every show. And when I lost Baby Jack, it opened up my mind to inspiration, to follow my passions, to live my life. You know what I mean? And hi, Carrie Lynn.
Hey,
And so
Carolyn,
that kind of
good.
helped me.
Man, my
Yeah.
girlfriend. That's my girlfriend there. She's
Yeah.
good. She is also a host, Spirit
I know.
Switchboard,
We're
Friday
yep
nights.
on August 16th. We will be on that show August
Ah,
16th.
sweet.
Carrie
Sweet.
Lynn is an amazing human being.
She
And
is.
She
I've
is.
been gifted her friendship, you know. So
Yes.
when we brought WBZ in, it wasn't anything for recognition. It was he wanted to do a story. I kind of wanted to talk about it. It was kind of cool. It was fun. I didn't think it would go even where it went. You know what I mean? And I was like, I was new and a novice at it. So he came in, and then Dave came for the serious Bigfoot investigation. And we were walking all through the woods, and I was showing him the signs I was seeing, like there's a 40-foot X that just appeared one day. Now, when I talk about structures, I get it. It's not scientific. I understand that, man. I'm not about that. I try to explain away Mother Nature. I'm not just yelling Bigfoot. Please understand that.
Exactly.
But when you look up and you see a 40-foot X, and it's like this and like this, you know what I mean? And
how high was it in the air?
it was about 40 feet tall, and
Yeah.
each one of them was straight up like this. And then there was a skinny one on each one, like a live tree that it was just leaning on. I got pictures of it. You could see it all the way through. And then there's so that was out there. So I was showing Dave that, and then I was showing him what we call the dream catcher. And on Tuesday night, when I show you the dream catcher, it's absolutely nuts. Hey, what's up, Squatch man? How you doing?
That's my boy, Scotch.
Yeah, I like his
brother?
stuff. I've been checking his stuff out, actually.
Yeah.
We like your work, bro. And listen, again, we get it with the structures. I get it. But there is nothing here that I should not be looking at. There is no stone should be left unturned. You know what I mean? Just do it correctly, do it respectfully, and you can either find out if it's, bull or if it's real. Just, but put it in there. But I have things on my property that you just have to see to believe. It's mind-blowing. And on the way out, that particular day, I remember we were going to the property. I kept saying I could hear him kind of walking. I almost know when I'm getting flanked by him at this point. Squatch man might relate with that. And we were out by my fence, backpacks off. I had my phone in my hoodie pocket. And Dave looks at me and goes, "What kind of duck is that, man?" And I said, "I lived here since 02, bro." I go, "I lived here since," and this is like 21. I go, "I've lived here since 02, brother. I ain't never seen a duck out there. I see turkeys kind of go up in the trees and stuff and, nestle and all that, roost, right?" And and it did. It made a weird noise, and I got I heard its attention. It got my attention. And then all of a sudden, on the right side, and I had kept pointing out like this because they love. I don't know if Squatch man can relate with this either, but they love that like upside down pyramid. One's way over here, one's way over here, and you're right here. So it's almost like a point, And this one on the right goes, "That's what I heard. That's what Dave heard."
That's crazy.
That's what the author heard. And I looked over at Dave and I go, "Is that samurai chatter like from the Sierra Sounds?" And he just froze. A veteran Bigfoot hunter. Excuse me, researcher, bad word. And then as soon as that one finished, the one on the left, you could tell it was bigger. And it went, whatever language he said. It was a language. There was full communication right here. I was hearing this from 75 yards tops. I'm trying to be polite and nice. I feel it was closer, but I'm trying to be fair. And then as soon as he finished, the one on the right, the smaller one, picked back up and made that samurai chatter again. And then when he got done, this is what was unique about it. When he finished his sentence, he made what I deemed to be a chest pop. Just because in this particular situation, I don't think he had the most awesomest, perfectest tree knocker in a tree right there. But he went, "Oh, what? Who? And then he went like I could hear a big pop. And then as soon as that pop came, like a period at the end of the sentence, the guy on the left picked it right back up, and bigger one. And when he got done, he did the same thing. So it was like, tree knock sound, like that. It was nuts. And I sat there like this. I remember reaching for my phone, like, I'm going to get this on video. I'm going to record this, and I go like this and I go like this to pull it out. And I went, "Oh my God, they're going to kill me." In my head, I'm like, "Oh my God, they come out of the woods and they kill me." And then, or the moment stops. What if I stop that moment from happening and we never had it? I was there with two legitimate researchers that were there. All kinds of stuff, man. Thank you, brother. But yeah,
Gary. That's my boy.
yeah,
Gary's my boy. He's cool.
That's what happened. And that, listen, I pay for my podcast, man. I'm here just to tell you my experiences and what I lived through. You know what I mean?
He's
And that's the way it
Gary.
is. And Squatchman says they send you where they want you to go. If you see one, you know what? I 100% believe you. The way I've been flanked a few times, and
just like Ghost when you go paranormal hunting.
Yeah,
they'll make you. They'll chase you. They'll make you chase them.
Yeah,
so I can actually see that. But back to real quick on the conversation between. Do you think they could have possibly be talking about you guys that were there, or do you think they were just talking about the cute little redhead down there, the redhead Sasquatch that was down the road? Man? What do you think, dude?
I think they were walking us out. Because I heard them throughout the investigation. No one else did. And I kept saying it. And I had just met this gentleman, Dave McCullough, who's now a friend of mine. But, I didn't want to seem like the Bigfoot guy. You know what I mean? So I said it a couple times. I said, I'm hearing in this direction and that direction. They actually validated my directions that I was talking by doing what they did. But I believe they walked us out. And I believe they talked about us leaving. And that basically, we're here now. We're good to go. Whatever it might have been. And then Dave looks at me and goes, I think it's time for us to go. And I remember looking at him and I said, you know what? You're probably right. So I got out. We walked, a couple hundred feet to my fence. I turned around on my lawn and I looked out at the woods and I said, thank you guys. We're taking off now. Like my neighbors think I'm nuts.
No, that's cool. That's
Thank
good. You know what? Here's what's crazy thing about it. And I know you all agree with me, and Carrie Lynn and all them out there would say, if you give them respect, if you show them respect, in return, they're going to respect you. Okay.
And they do. Yes.
And they do. I mean, but haven't you ever, Mr. Wozo, this is for you too, and Mr. B, Richie B, you ever wonder why you were like actually being called to do this, to both of you? I mean, we know because you witnessed something that happened to you, but did you ever really even think deeper why you were called to investigate the Bigfoot?
Well, first of all, come in with an open mind. That's what I did. And it was the mystery. And it's the research of what you're seeing. All I can just say is it was just it going out more and more and more with Richie, and I'll tell you, it's the passion. And all I can just say is this: is that we like the respect of what we're doing, have the passion, and it's the research. And you know what? If I ever see the big guy, I'd rather keep it as the passion and the research. It's like what Richie says. We're not going to get fame out of this. We're not here to get rich. Nothing. We're just here for the research.
Right.
They're here for a reason. For what? We don't know. But, I mean, but I'll tell you, it's every, I think I've been out with you, Richie, about over 20 times, 25 times actually. And every investigation I've done is always something different. It's never been boring. It's never been like, no, nothing's going on here. Things are happening. Either like, we take pictures of structures and then come back like the following weekend, they're like destroyed and gone. And then like we reenact and stand at the same place and take pictures again. It's just fun researching and finding out what is going on in these woods.
Yep.
Without yelling Sasquatch or what have you,
Yeah, and that's the key. I think that's the key is having different angles of research. And me and Wojo talked about this last week. Like, what would you do? I said, I don't even know if I'd tell anybody.
No,
I really don't, because for me, the calling was I feel blessed. Like they came to me in my yard. They came to me in my yard. And Dave said it after I turned around and waved. He goes, you know why they're here, right? And I said, no, I don't. He goes, it's because of you. You know what I mean? And I had to take that in. It was a profound statement. I'm like, what's he talking about? So
Rich, tell the gifting stump too, so that the folks can understand.
I'll get to that. So, when I feel that connection to them, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do. I was a novice. I'd watch, this on TV or that I didn't know. It was production stuff. I had no idea what was going on. They came to me, and then I reached out to a friend of mine that I know had interest in this and experiences with it. And he says, you need a gifting stump. And I said, a gifting stump? He's like, yeah, you need to put like cookies or apples or something on a gifting stump. make an offering to them, let them know you're
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So I did this, right? And this is kind of a funny story because I look really stupid doing it, but I love oatmeal raisin cookies, right? Nice, warm,
Ooh, gross.
smell.
Gross.
Damn, settle down, Pittsburgh. No, I'm just kidding. So I take the cookies, they're my favorites, and I walk up and Barney Miller, and I walk out to my fence and I say, "Hey, these are my favorite cookies." I don't know what the hell I'm doing, bro. And I'm like, I'm gonna leave them here on this stump for you, right here. And anyway, I had a stump. I took 2 little branches, like saplings, and put them on either side. So I figured that way I could see if a critter moved them or a bird was hopping around and knocked them free, right? And I put the cookies in the middle, and like 2 days go by. Well, I start getting offended. But it's awfully weird. No birds or squirrels. There's not a crumb anywhere. Nobody's touching these cookies. Nobody. So I come back on that day. I'm sorry, that was the second day. I yell out there, "Hey, those are my favorite cookies." Here, I'm yelling out to the woods. The neighbors are like, I have one neighbor close to me on my left side, right? Thank you, Gary. Thank you, man. And he must think I'm freaking nuts. I'm yelling at the freaking trees at this point, right? And so I go inside. I'm mad. I come out the next day, and I got pictures of this. The next day I come out, there is a perfectly torn piece of lichen from a tree, L-I-C-H-E-N, lichen, laid down perfectly between those 2 saplings. Not one crumb of a cookie. Nothing has moved on these saplings. I got pictures to prove that. Nothing. They came back and gave me a piece of lichen because I'm over here going, what the hell would a Sasquatch give you? Something natural, right? Like they peeled it off perfectly, not broken, nothing. And it's laid right there, man. It blew my mind. And it was one of those things where I was thinking, the wind didn't put it there. There's no way. That stuff's like a feather, right?
Right.
How did it land? I try to search for the rationale, the real, the thoughts of trying to really, not yell, "Oh, Bigfoot gave me that." I'm like, all right, what happened? The wind came.
You were basically trying to debunk it, right?
Right. You always try to debunk. I come from a paranormal background. I was a paranormal investigator, right?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to debunk this. And I could not debunk it. I couldn't. And I tried it again. Sure enough, same process. I got this weird nut that was broken in half, placed in between those 2 branches. And I looked all around my property for this type of nut. I looked all around 3 acres. I went out to the conservation area. I'm looking around for a bush with this nut on it. I got it in my hand. I'm comparing it to other nuts I find. 2.5 years later, I'm out on the Taunton River with my buddy Mike Train, another member of the Boots on the Ground Bigfoot Investigations, a kick-ass investigator, I might add. And there it is. And there it is, 1.1 miles from my property, laying on the bank. 2.5 years later, I said, "Oh my God, that's that nut." He's like, "What?" I said, "That's the nut I told you I've been looking for."
So I guess they played with you for a while, and they said, "All right, he had enough." So they put the nut there for you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So it's awesome.
So we discussed on Thursday. We talked a little bit on Thursday. You were saying that there are some people out there that that help you kind of understand what type of evidence you got through pictures, through audio, something like that. Can you share a little of that?
Oh, my friend from Georgia. Yeah. So what we have friends all around. Not only that, the researchers, the resources. And I have a friend down in Georgia that works for the University of Georgia Forestry. And he goes around all down the South, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas. And what he tries to find is to check on the trees if there's any invasive insects that is destroying the agriculture down there, I think, so on and so forth. And all these investigations with the twisted trees and the X's and the dream catches, and all these like strange twists and turns that's going on. We're trying to figure out what's going on. So I asked him, I sent him these pictures, and he just said, "Well, Joe, I've been doing this for over 25 years. He goes, I've never seen anything like this in my life, and especially the huts. Now, the more you looked at the huts, he tried to debunk it, and like I said, we're not here to crap on anybody. We're here to listen. We're here to talk. And he was saying that, that when you have snow and ice and when the sun beams down, it can wilt the trees. but not in 3 different directions. And
Right,
it had a hole in the middle. And that's why he was like,
right.
I don't know what's going on up in Massachusetts, but I can't wait to go up there and see what's going on, you know?
No, it's good to have experts, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
that's what we do. We reach outside of our circle and not just say, "Look what we found." Like the Vogel brothers, right? The Vogel brothers, what do they got? Cobble Mountain Critter Project, right?
Yep.
You check. They're outdoorsmen. They're wilderness experts. Tim is a park ranger, lives on a 1,300-acre forest that he's in charge of. That's his job, 24/7, basically. And whenever we have a question, and they're also part of the boots on the ground Bigfoot investigation, because we're trying to get not just geographical, but people resources, right? People that are smart, people that have been doing this longer than us, people that have certain expertise. These guys have that. We could call them and I'll say, hey, what's this? Like this one time when I strangely picked up this little Tic Tac brown looking thing and found out it was porcupine poop. I thought I had found the discovery of the world. And,
Man.
I said, hey, what's that? He goes, oh, porcupines do that. And I went, whoa, Joe, those things I picked up a porcupine poop. And so we're learning is my point. And the ego is not an issue. We don't have that. This is not about ego. This is not about ego. This is not about you knowing who I am. I want to share the story with you. I want to follow my passions. I want to have Wojo come along with me. He's an amazing human being and a good friend. All these people I've surrounded myself with boots on the ground, Bigfoot investigations, from Steve Barnard and Mike Trainer and Rich Glidden and the Vogels and, ourselves. And, just it's amazing. They're amazing people with the passion that we have. And the end game is the same. Put New England on the map, right? And we don't even know, and when we might not even tell you if we find it, because we don't trust humans necessarily in that sense when it comes to this stuff, because I've seen some of that in action and I was not impressed. So that, that's where we're at. So understand that we're here collecting evidence. Yes. But we're reaching out to experts that know more than we do to find out facts. And, no, he has not contacted me about it. Thank you. Put in a good word for me. What's up, Mickey? Wojo was a character on Bonnie Miller. Did you know that?
Jerry. What's that?
He was Wojo was a character on the Bonnie Miller TV show. Gary says, "Did you know that?"
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I've been drinking the fountain of youth water. Yeah. I'm looking good.
Wow.
But to go back though, also we're not here for competition. It's not who know. It's the passion on being out in the woods. It's have positive energy, enjoy nature. And only that, you're just there for the research. It's not like who's better than who.
You get to meet people.
Exactly. It's networking, and I can relate to your Bill from last week. And I totally get, like, hey, you're out in the woods and you're just there to investigate. You try to find the pieces of what is going on in our woods and stuff. And God bless him. God bless everybody that's out in the woods. But you know what? Don't crap on people. Have a positive attitude. And you know what? Always ask those questions. And only that, find that common ground on. There's always going to be like agreements and disagreements. That's what me and Richie, we have that. Not everything. You have to.
Go wrong.
That's right.
Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show. It's been a great 50-some minutes. But remember, everybody, this Tuesday at 8:10 p.m. on my show, they're going to come back, Richie B and Mr. Wojo, and they're going to come back and they're just going to show all the evidence that they have. And I saw some the other night, and I was impressed. I really was impressed. Who wants to do the last word of the evening before I kick you all out of here?
Well, we could both quickly do it, but I think the most impressive thing is that when you did see our pictures, you got a haircut.
Yeah, I did. Huh?
And a beard trim. That's how much it blocked in your mind.
Like that, huh? Hey, thanks for the update. I forgot to tell people. What do you think, girls, guys? I mean, come on. I look 30 years younger.
I will say for my behalf is, you know what? Just have respect for others, and you know what? Happy researching. That's all I can say. And I can't wait to talk to you guys on Tuesday. Rich?
And look up Banter with Richie B and keep climbing, baby. That's what we like to say is keep climbing. Love
Keep
you, Dave.
climbing.
All right, brother. And I'm going to put you guys in the background here. And
Thank you, Shawn.
thank you so much for coming on. And I'm
Thank you for
seriously
everybody.
looking
Thank you
forward-
so much.
Thank you,
I
everybody.
am
Thank
so
you.
looking
God
forward
bless.
to Tuesday. I am so looking forward to Tuesday.
Oh, me too. I can't wait.
Yeah. Bring it.
Boom.
Okay, everybody. What a show. Oh, my God. It was great. These people, the guys are great. And I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I know for a fact, since I started Bigfoot Month, for my show, I have no doubt in my mind that I was supposed to meet these two gentlemen. And I'm looking forward, to meeting more Bigfoot researchers. And these two guys are going to help me start getting involved. Um, like Bill Rigby, you got Scotsman, you got all kinds of other people out there that are, boots on the ground, if you want to call it, trying to find out the answers. And just like in paranormal investigations, doing it over 30 years, been to haunted places, picked up some very cool evidence, and I still haven't found a reason why yet that they exist. So, without further ado, children, if you can, please go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And if you don't have no parents and if you don't have, no children, find somebody and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, remember, Tuesday night, Richie B, Mr. Wojo will be coming back and they're going to show the evidence. And on that note, good night, everybody, and see you Tuesday night.